So welcome back. In this video what I want to show you is how we can test restrictions using eViews, and we're going to continue with the same example that we used in the previous video where I demonstrated how we can test restrictions in Excel, SAS and Stata. So the model that we used in the previous videos was the following. We used y as the dependent variable, and we used the model with 5 independent variables, namely x1, x2, x3, x4 and x5. And the restriction that we imposed was that beta 1 is equal to 1, and at the same time beta 2 minus beta 3 is equal to 4. So this was the unrestricted model, and if we impose the restrictions, our results showed an F statistic of F is equal, F estimated was 74.87, which allowed us to reject the null hypothesis in favor of the alternative hypothesis. In other words, that beta 1, either beta 1 not equal to 1 or beta 2 minus beta 3 not equal to 4. And we had also seen the results on the following distribution, where we can see that the value, the F estimated of 74, rejects the null hypothesis. In other words, we reject the restricted specification in favor of the unrestricted specification that includes all of the independent variables. So in this video we're going to use the same data. So let us go and see the data that we will employ. The data is in sheet 1 of the Excel file that you have available in the website, where I'm giving you a total of 5 independent variables, x1 through x5, 20 observations, and then y is the dependent variable. So let us go to eViews, and when you open eViews, you have different ways with which you can open the data. Now, in a previous video I demonstrated how you can use the file import command. In this video we're going to use the command codes that eViews allows you to use. So let us go and open a PRG file. So I'm going to go to File, New, Program. And as soon as you click on Program, you're going to get an empty window, which you can see over here. In this window, you're going to have to import the data, and for that I have already written the code. As you can see, first I'm telling eViews that I need to create an undated data set. So let us see what this does. If I simply run create undated, you're going to see that a window pops up where I'm going to press OK. And now I have a work file available where I have 21 empty observations. In other words, I have not imported my data as of yet. So what I need to do in order to import the data, I need to put the read command, which says read from cell B2 in sheet S1. If we go back to the Excel file, we're going to see that my data starts at B2, the actual data without the numbering of the observations. So my data starts at B2. So I'm reading the first cell that I wanted to read is cell B2 from sheet named sheet 1. The file in my computer is located in the ctemp directory, and the name of the file is restr.xls. As soon as I'm done with that, I have to input the names of the variables which I'm putting over here. So let us run that. All I have to do is press run and OK. And now, as you can see, the work file has changed. I can simply hold Control down and click on x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 and y, and then right click and open as group. So we have our data over here. Now we can run a regression by saying quick estimate equation, and then I can simply add the name of the dependent variable y. I'm going to need to put a constant which I can name C1, and then the variables x1 through x5, x2, x3, x4 and x5. And if I press OK, I'm going to get the results of the regression. Now I'm going to show you in a little bit how to do this by writing a code, but let us first go through the basic method. So I have my results over here, and what I need to do next is I need to add the restriction. And in order to do that, I need to remember what my restriction looks like. So I need beta 1, the coefficient in front of x1, to be equal to 1, and beta 2 minus beta 3, the coefficients of x2 and x3, to be equal to 4. So let us see how eViews has named those parameters. So I'm going to go to View and Representations. And as you can see, my coefficient in front of x1 is C2. So C2 has to be equal to 1. And then C3 minus C4, the parameters in front of x2 and x3, have to be equal to 4. So in order to run the test for restriction, I'm going to go to View, I'm going to go to Coefficient Diagnostics, and I'm going to request a wald test. And as soon as I do that, I'm going to get a little window up here. So now I can watch the coefficient names, and I can write, I want my C2 to be equal to 1. And then for the second restriction, I'm going to write, I want C3 minus C4 to be equal to 4. And I can simply press OK. And if this was done properly, I should get exactly the same value that I got earlier, which was 74.87. So let us press OK. And there it is. The F statistic, as you can see here, is 74.87. I have 2 degrees of freedom in the numerator and 14 degrees of freedom in the denominator. The p-value is less than 0.05. So this tells me that I'm rejecting the null hypothesis. Another way that we can use in order to do that is to write the code in the program window. So let us first request eViews to estimate a regression for us. In order for us to get the regression results, I'm writing equation, and then I'm naming the equation L1 dot ls, which stands for least squares. So I wanted to use the least squares method, and then I'm adding the y, which is my dependent variable, the constant. Remember that in eViews you have to specify that you have a constant, otherwise it's going to estimate the model without the constant, and finally the independent variables. So if I run this, I'm going to get the same results that I got before. So I'm going to press run, and now I'm going to press OK. And as you can see, I have a little equation over here that says L1. So let me double click on this, and you can see that I have exactly the same results that I had before. But I can also add the wald test in here. And the way that we're going to write this, we're going to type L1. In other words, I want the wald test in equation L1. And then the wald test is going to include C2 is equal to 1, comma, C3 minus C4 equal to 4. And if I run all of this program, I should get exactly the same results that I got before. Let me press run. Okay, and there it is. I got again 74.87. So there's my wald test. It is 74.87, and as we remember from the Excel file, the result was that we reject the null hypothesis, since this is more than 3.73, which is the critical value in our test. So we choose H1, and H1 means that either beta 1 is not equal to 1, or the second restriction, beta 2 minus beta 3, is not equal to 4, which means that if either one of those is not true, then I choose the unrestricted specification. So we've seen how the restrictions are tested in eViews. We still have to show how we can get the same result in SPSS, which is going to be the last video of this series.